Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Now the other week I did a look at the H7 Flow RGB. This is the smaller brother, the H5 Flow RGB. A couple of changes from the Flow that we saw previously, and we'll run you through them of course as we go throughout the video. So this is going to retail at £109, this one. It's going to be available in black and white. You will have a tinted panel for the black version, whereas the white will have a clear panel. So let's get this open to have a little look. Instructions, they come in a plastic bag, which I think is a little bit excessive waste, but you do get the instructions of course. And then on H5 Flow RGB. So like I said, it is a smaller version of the H7. It has a smaller form factor and also a little bit less capability for cooling and radiators and things like that than the big one, but of course we'll run you through what we have as we go. The tin looks very dark actually, but hopefully once you've got some components in there, I'd probably recommend you put like a white LED strip just to really illuminate it, if that's what you're going for of course. If you're going stealth, then obviously don't add anything at all, go minimal RGB to really, you know, murder it out. So we'll start along the top like we did with the H7. On the left we've got our power button that will have a little bit of illumination around it to show activity. There's a USB 3, this is USB 3.2 Gen 1, and we've got USB-C port as well, which is USB 3.2 Gen 2. Headphone microphone combi jack. Cooling on the top, we've got up to two 120mm fans, and this is filtered as well. Really difficult to get your fingers under to actually get it off. So on the top we've got our support for up to two 120mm fans or a 240mm AIO. No 280 support, which is I think is a little bit of a shame. You do see 280 quite commonly in this kind of form factor, so kind of missed out there a little bit I think, but you can do a 280 in the front. On the topic of the front, let's go round to the front. So we've got two 140mm fans built in. These are the new RGB core fans. You can also get these individually in packs of 3 for the 120mm and the 2s for the 140s if you want to add any additional fans into your case. Front panel here is a push pin one like we saw with the H7, so very easy to take off even though it sounds like it's going to explode. Then you have got some mesh on the other side for filtration. So we can see there's two pre-installed 140mm fans. Difference between the RGB core and the duo fans, the duos had a ring of RGB around the outside, and then the core fans have RGB in the hub that then spreads out. More of the common design that we see on the market for RGB fans. A little bit further down we've got some subtle NZXT branding, very subtle and neat there. We'll just turn this upside down. You can also see the dust filter, so we've got one for the power supply. This will support up to 185mm power supply, and there's also one in the front of the case which does the filtration for the fan that fires onto the graphics card that I'll show you in a minute. Rear of the case is not a lot going on. We've got the 120mm fan support. That's a Quiet Series fan that's pre-installed in there. Like I said in the H7, I'd love if it was a core RGB fan just to make it all match. That's one thing that I'll just take straight out if I was building this myself. So yeah, I would like them to all match. It will be a bit more cost of course, but I think for them all to be the same fan and to have the same effects would be a lot better than just adding one that's just plain. Take a look inside. We have got a thumb screw for the tempered glass on this one. So we've got up to ATX motherboard support. In this case you can do ITX, MATX if you'd rather. Personally I don't see the point of using a smaller board for what fits in your case, but you can do it if you need to. There's the rear 120 Quiet Series fan that I mentioned. There's also some nice little cable clips at the very top. It's going to be quite hard to see, but that keeps the cable nice and tidy so it goes up and then straight along, so it's minimal kind of sagging from the cables, and keeps it nice and flush along the case. We've got a nice big cable channel as well, and then we've got some open parts beneath, so your 24 pin can come up nice and easily. There's a big old gap as well, so you will be able to bend that round nicely into your motherboard and it's not going to get like wedged or anything like that. Two thumb screws to the front of the case. If we undo these, this then opens out this section to take off your fans, so you can put your AIO fans, everything all onto that bracket. Then that simply just screws back in with the thumb screw, so it's all in one bracket, nice and easy. So tilting this up, we've got some holes for your cables to come up through, and then we have the other additional Quiet Series fan underneath here, which will then point air up onto your graphics card. And on the topic of graphics cards, let's see what we can fit in it. So first up, 4080 Strix, the biggest card, well I've got anyway. I don't know. Oh, it might go. Or just, literally if you angle it, it will fit. So 4080 Strix can go in there. Millimeters of clearance, of course, plugging that in will give a little bit more space on the left hand side because I have got the bracket still installed, but that will just fit. I actually grabbed a tough because I thought it wasn't going to, but it will go in there. 365mm is the official support, so it will fit. So alongside graphics card support, you've got up to 165mm for your cooler, so it's not going to be NXT 15s, things that big, but the smaller ones like the U12, I think it is, should fit in there without any problems. So 2 thumb screws for the rear panel. A bit tricky to get out, there's nothing really to grab onto. So here's our little accessory box. Then we've got support for 2 2.5mm drives underneath that. So in this little box, cable ties and also the assortment of screws that NZXT do. I did say in the last video I'd like to see these just all in one bag to save the plastic, but people did say they like them segmented. Maybe they could find a middle ground and just kind of reduce the plastic waste down a little bit. Now, first thing I noticed about this case with the cable management is this little bracket here. As long as you've got everything below that, you know the case is going to shut, so that's quite a nifty thing to have. Of course, we've not got any drive cages because you haven't got that additional fan that's underneath here. That can be removed if you'd rather, but you don't have any cages to put in anyway, so I would recommend you just try and go for NVMe or even 2.5-inch storage if you must. The additional connectors and things, we've just got a USB-C. There is also a splitter cable as well, so all the RGB goes onto one plug. Same for the fan power as well, so you don't have to run multiple cables to your motherboard. They're all in one jumper. Cable tie downs with Velcro as well along the top. Also some more zip tie points along there as well. Big old channel for the EPS connectors to go through. There's more tie down points further along up by the front panel stuff there as well. Power supply up to 185mm for this case. And also back to this bracket, you can also use this for a 3.5-inch drive if you'd rather, over a 2.5. I do like the channel they use for the 8 pins though. We saw this on the H7. It's got a little part that the cable can go under, so it's nice and tidy. Keeps it held down as well, so do like that. So that was a quick look at the H5 Flow RGB from NZXT. Let me know what you think in the comments box below. I'll add the pricing and availability in the description as well if you want to get one for yourself. You'll see this in the Kraken video as well, so if you haven't checked that out already, do have a look. That will be up before this one anyway. You'll see it all built up. I'm also going to build the H7 as well, so you can see the coolers and everything. See how they look in the new cases. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Big thank you to NZXT for sending this out for me to look at. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.